is News 25 with Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. Today's news is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New service and repair. Call Gunny's 775-727-6800.
Welcome to this edition of News 25. I'm Unette Gentry. Deanna is on assignment, and thank you for joining us this Thursday, April 28th, NFL Draft Day in Las Vegas. And in local news, the Nye County Sheriff's Office continues to search for a suspect wanted in connection with graffiti at Ian Deutsch Memorial Park and Justin Levitt Skate Park here in Pahrump. Captain David Berukowitz says it's unclear why the parks were the target of vandalism, but his office continues to build a case against the suspects.
A couple of weekends ago, over the night, we had a complete defacing of the Ian Deutsch Memorial Park as well as the Justin Levitt Skate Park. They just spray painted virtually everything they could get their hands on. Trees, buildings, the memorial sign and everything.
Berukowitz says most of the graffiti did not appear to have any clear meaning.
Various marks and a few words that had little meaning to us. Turns out one of the words is a nickname for the deceased son of one of the suspects. But yeah, it was appeared to just be general defacing.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office arrested 3 suspects, 42-year-old Desiree Lewis, 24-year-old Christopher Gorgon, and a juvenile. They're still trying to locate a 4th suspect, Marlon Alvarez. Berukowitz says tips from the public helped them identify the 4 suspects and make those 3 arrests.
The camera footage obviously led us to being able to put out the press release, and really the case was solved by virtue of the amazing support of the community. We got tips, literally hundreds of tips identifying them and their vehicles, and we were able to put that together very quickly and get them into custody. They've currently been charged with the crime of defacing the memorial site. We are working on additional charges for the conspiracy and kind of putting the rest of the case together, but as of right now they were booked in solely for that defacing of the memorial site.
Right now, a motive remains unclear, though they're still investigating tips about Lewis.
It's really illogical. We did hear during the investigation that the motive or the thought process was that she was grieving the loss of her own son. However, obviously that makes no sense why you would deface other people's memorial to feel better about your own situation. It's not very logical at all.
Crews are still trying to repair damage caused by the vandalism. Right now, it's still unclear how much that's going to cost.
We don't have an exact amount. The Buildings and Grounds is still working to remove some of the graffiti. It's a substantial amount, though. It was on virtually every building there. They defaced the memorial stone. They spray painted trees. It was just a lot of destruction. The skate park obviously has come a long ways. The community has really supported it, and I think having it as a memorial not only to Deputy Deutsch but obviously also to Mr. Levitt, I think has made the community take pride in that, and it shows. I mean, it's traditionally a very nice park, and obviously the defacing of it is just absurd.
And as if there already isn't enough happening in our valley, entertainment will come to Henderson. Bonkers Comedy Productions got its start in Milwaukee in 1984, and today they have more than 24 comedy clubs around the country, including a new venue that will open in May in Henderson's Water Street district. News 25 caught up with Bonkers founder Joe Sanfilippo at the soon-to-open club inside the Pass Casino.
In 1987, when I was 6 years old, we got a call from a friend of ours who was actually Rodney Dangerfield's manager. We just opened in Orlando. Showtime and Universal were both coming to town. Universal was opening up all the attractions, and at that time, comics were getting a lot of jobs, because if you couldn't get a TV job in LA or New York, now Orlando became the third option. My original group of comics, where it would have been in almost every other case to be a bunch of unknown people, they were Scott Thompson, who became Carrot Top, Dan Whitney, who became Larry the Cable Guy, Billy Gardell from CBS, and Daryl Hammond, who's been on SNL for over 30 years. They were just the local guys, and they all became famous at the same time because of this coincidence. So what happens for me is I got a call from Showtime, and they say, we want to do a series of comedy specials for a new channel that we're starting called the Showtime Comedy Club Network. and we want to shoot at your club because then we can edit it Universal, blah, 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 just in the right place at the right time, as they say. So that blows up, and that channel eventually becomes Comedy Central. All that content ends up for maybe 10 years on Comedy Central. So we're getting phone calls every day, this little local comedy club in Orlando. Hey, we saw you guys on Showtime. How do we get a Bonkers up here in Valdosta, Georgia? And then it just ran from there. We open up in Vegas. I'm getting on a plane, going back to visit my family, and across from me I see Louis Anderson. And I've known him for years, but we haven't worked together in years, and we both just happen to be getting on the same flight. We get into this big conversation about how he really wants his own theater. He's in a different location right now, but he has to share space with other shows. And could I do anything for him? And it happened that I could. So we put together the Louis Anderson live show at Palace Station, and I became his producer at that point and stayed his producer all the way until, unfortunately, he passed away a few months ago. He was a wonderful person, as nice and warm as he seemed on TV or in Coming to America. That was really him. He just became a really, really close friend. He was a great person and the best thing that ever happened to me in the business. I had heard about all the stuff happening on Water Street. We come down on a Tuesday night, and there's like 100 people walking around Water Street, which the last time I'd been here a few years ago, it was tumbleweeds. I'm like, wow, there's something to this. So then we see the several casinos here, and we walk around at them, and I see this venue that we're standing in right now, and I'm like, it's a comedy club. What the heck's going on here? Why aren't they already doing something, you know? But we really wanted to be on Water Street, and this just happened to be the best location anyways, but it really worked out well. So we're very excited to be opening up in May. It's bonkerscomedy.com, and you just navigate. We have about 20 locations around the country. So you have to just hit the drop downs, you know, go to Nevada, go to Water Street, or to Henderson. And you can buy tickets. Our first week is Carla Ray from KKLZ. She's the morning show person there. She's a very accomplished comedian who's been on Conan O'Brien and Showtime and Comedy Central. Very funny lady. And then every week, all of the headliners are people that have TV credits. So you're not just coming to see an open mic. This is a real stand-up show, equal to what you would see at the Tropicana or at MGM Grand, but it's right here at home in Henderson. Come and see us. Okay. You'll have a good time.
More entertainment news next.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Lisa Spahitz and Mike Plasmeyer at Country Financial Insurance. Auto, home, life, and commercial. 775-727-8920.
Well, the circus is coming to Pahrump. For one day only, the Culpeper and Merriweather Circus will bring their fun-filled 90-minute show here to town. And the Big Top will soon be going up at Petrick Park. Skeeter the Clown gives us a preview.
Live and in color, coming right here to Pahrump on May the 3rd. That's a Tuesday, with two performances, one at 5 o'clock and the other at 7:30. But the really big shoe happens at 9:30 Circus Morning, when you are invited out to the circus grounds to watch us raise the Big Top up. Big Top is a nickname for that great big circus tent. Then stay for the free tour. This year is the 229th anniversary of the American Circus, which means we, the American Circus, we're only 15 years younger than America itself. So it's living history in your own backyard. So 9:30, they lay out the Big Top. 10 o'clock is the free circus tour. Make sure you buy your tickets in advance because you will save. Tickets this year for adults, that's 13 and up, are $12 in advance. Seniors 65 and above, children under 13, that means 12 and below, are $7. But if you wait till the gate, there are more. They're $15 for adults, seniors, and children are $8. And this is a full 90-minute presentation. We have lions and tigers with us this year. We have wonderful draft horses. We have a Shire and a Frisian stallion that does a comedy act. We also have cockatoos. We have the cradle act that you'll see, the Wheel of Destiny. We also have a low wire act. We have our other silly clown, Leo, who actually comes out of a 2 by 2 by 2 foot car. Hup. Ooh. Hup. We are being sponsored by the Kiwanis. So if you buy your tickets in advance, you'll save, and more of that advance money goes to the Kiwanis for the different activities that they do right here in Pahrump. You can buy your tickets at, gotta get the cheat sheet, you can buy them at the Party Barn and more, Dairy Queen, Orange Julius, yum, Drew's Tire Pros, and Valley Electric Associates.
Well, students at Pahrump Valley High School were not clowning around when they got a chance to plan for their futures. They got to learn more about options for continuing their education after high school during a recent career fair. Jennifer Hackstrom is the college and career counselor at Pahrump Valley High School who's sharing all that info.
So today, Pahrump Valley High School, we're hosting a college and career fair with Gear Up. I'm the college and career counselor here at PVHS for the Nye County School District, and I'm also the Gear Up specialist, and we help give accessibility to post-secondary education and training to our students here at the high school. Gear Up stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs. It's very wordy. Every student is different. Some kids really want to attend traditional college, 4-year, 2-year, etc. Some kids want to go into the trades. We have trades available for students to talk to. Some students want to go straight into the world of work. So we want to give them lots of different samplings from our local economy in Southern Nevada and Pahrump, Nye County in particular, so that they have access and they can start thinking forward about maybe what they'd be interested in after high school. All grades are welcome to participate 9th through 12th today in our college and career fair. We always try to really push the seniors to attend, but some seniors are on campus more, off campus more. It just depends on their student schedule. But all kids 9th through 12th are welcome. The students throughout the year gear up. Myself and the ladies who work in my office, Miss Duff and Miss Castillo, have gone out and done and worked with students, talked to them about different choices. Gear Up Nevada has been in classrooms doing college corners. Our reps from all of the Nevada colleges and community colleges are here on campus that are associated with Gear Up, and they've worked with students 9th through 12th grade at PVHS on college applications and admissions, trade school admissions, how to apply for scholarships from the state, lots of different programming. So we're trying to expose kids to different things.
What you need to know about the long-term effects of COVID and your health after the break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, if you're experiencing long hauler symptoms after recovering from COVID-19, you are not alone. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Kristen England with Cleveland Clinic says many people have reported issues, some even 2 years later.
This is something that we may be dealing with for many years to come. It would be lovely if we could give patients a time frame, just put up with it for 6 months and it'll go away, but we can't say that at all. Patients are experiencing symptoms 2 years out, and the clock is still ticking.
Dr. England says people are experiencing all kinds of long hauler symptoms, but the most common seem to be overwhelming fatigue, persistent cough, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, lightheadedness, brain fog, muscle aches, chronic constipation or diarrhea, lack of appetite, and loss of sense of taste and smell. Unfortunately, there is no one-size-fits-all treatment, so patients typically have to meet with different specialists. Dr. England says they have learned quite a bit during the pandemic about long haulers. For example, it doesn't matter how severe the person's case was, anyone could be at risk. The same goes for whether or not they are vaccinated.
We are seeing patients who've been vaccinated also presenting with COVID, or the long COVID syndrome. Sometimes it's because they've had their 2 vaccines but haven't necessarily had the booster, so they might have been more susceptible to the Omicron variant. So overall, I would say that the vaccine does protect against long COVID, but that's certainly not 100%.
Dr. England says they are also researching how each variant impacts long hauler symptoms. With that being said, she continues to emphasize the importance of the vaccine and booster shots.
Well, the NFL draft is now officially underway in Las Vegas. To kick that off and more sports news, here's Doug Ferber.
Hello, sports fans. From its humble beginnings, the NFL draft has become quite the event here in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Golden Knights might be making more news off the ice in the coming weeks, and the Silver Knights are headed to the postseason, and the Aviators continue their season-long 12-game homestand. I'm Doug Ferber. The NFL draft. The commissioner goes to the podium and calls out the team using the phrase, "You are now on the clock," as each team's management and coaches jockey for their selection in the span of a few minutes, while football fans all over the country watch intently on television. Those were the days. Very little frills, just a team calling their selection, the draftee heading to the podium, putting on his new team hat, and posing for a few pictures. That was then. This is now. In what has been built up as a theater production, a three-ring circus, and a night on Broadway, the 2022 NFL Draft will attract almost 500,000 visitors to Las Vegas. What was once a simple ceremony has become one of the biggest events of the year here in Vegas. Today, the draft will begin with round 1 and 2. As for your Raiders, they traded away their early draft picks for established impact players such as Devontae Adams from Green Bay. But the Silver and Black have a 3rd round, a 4th round, 2 5th-round picks, and a 7th-round pick, all beginning tomorrow. In the meantime, Vegas is officially in draft party mode until Saturday. The draft can be seen on ABC, ESPN, and the NFL Network, along with various streaming services. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, a team that came to town 5 seasons ago and knew nothing but success and annual trips to the postseason, finally had the air taken out of their balloon last night, losing to the Chicago Blackhawks 4-3 in a shootout on the road, thus eliminating the VGK once and for all from the postseason. Over the last few weeks, the VGK had many opportunities to string a few victories together to earn the final playoff spot in the Western Division, but nothing materialized except injuries and controversies. Tuesday night in Dallas, the VGK could have established a clear path to the playoffs, but fell short in a shootout in Dallas, losing 3-2. But wait, there was still a chance last night if the Stars lost their last 2 and the Knights won both of their final games. That never happened. The Stars did their part, losing to the Coyotes in a shootout last night, but the 12-game under 500 Blackhawks proved to be the final straw as they eliminated the VGK in last night's shootout. I'm sure the VGK will remain in the news the next couple of weeks, unfortunately, not from what happens on the ice. Hockey fans, don't despair. The Henderson Silver Knights are headed to the playoffs beginning next week on the road. The HSK hosts the Ontario Reign Saturday night at the Dollar Loan Center. The puck is set to drop at 7 p.m. The Las Vegas Aviators continue their 12-game homestand tonight, hosting Tacoma at the Las Vegas Ballpark. Last night, the Aviators beat the Rainers 6-5, coming back from a 4-1 deficit capped by catcher Shea Langelier's 2-run homer. The Aviators are 4-4 on this homestand with 4 games to play here before hitting the road next week. Tonight's first pitch will be at 7:05 p.m. One final note, the Las Vegas Aces will begin their WNBA season a week from Friday in Phoenix, followed by their home opener against the Seattle Storm on Sunday, May 8th at the Ultralight Arena at Mandalay Bay. For KPVM 25 TV Sports, I'm Doug Ferber.
Thanks, Doug. Now here's Darby O'Donnell with today's Save a Pet.
This segment is brought to you by Higher Society Smoke Shop in Las Vegas. Call 702-982-2300. Call 702-982-2300.
Hi, I'm Darby here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and today we are joined with Luna. Luna is a very sad kitty. She's actually been here for over a year now. She's so cute, beautiful, beautiful coloring. She is this black and white color all over her body. She has such beautiful little markings and then pretty green eyes. She is a little bit shy to begin with, and she does hesitate when people come and pick her up. But this is pretty normal for a cat. They do need time to adjust to new environments and everything. Cats should actually be allowed for up to 2 weeks to adjust to their new homes. So always give them a nice little place for them to retreat to if they get overwhelmed, and allow them the space to go and get comfortable in their new house. If you want to come and see Luna or any of her friends here at Desert Haven Animal Society, you can give them a call at 775-751-7020. You can look them up on their Facebook page at Desert Haven Animal Society, and just a reminder, they are now open 7 days a week for adoptions.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Oh, look at that picturesque view, blue skies everywhere. We'll take a closer look at our forecast and what you can expect temperature-wise during our weather when we return.